Now you will learn how to observe your life process and change it so that you can always improve your quality of life. Compare the way you are now with the way that you were 5 years ago. Think of all the living experiences that you have had and the knowledge that you have gained from all of your life experiences over the past 5 years. How much money would you take to give up all this knowledge? When I ask this question, people usually tell me that they wouldn't take any amount of money for the knowledge that they have learned about life. They would not like to go back and be their old self again. 5 years from now, if I were to ask you, how much money would you take to go back and be the way that you are right now, you would probably tell me that you wouldn't be willing to go back and be the way that you are now. I ask these questions to get people to compare the way they are with the way that they used to be, so they will realize that they are naturally changing themselves. Then they will realize that they are always changing their awareness. And because of their new awareness, they have a new perspective, a different view of the world, a different belief system, a new reality. And by comparing their past self with their new self, they will realize how valuable their new awareness is to them. They will always realize that it's their new awareness that will determine their relationship with life and their quality of life. Now we can live our lives in such a way that we decrease our awareness, or we can multiply our awareness. So the key to our better future is to learn how to add to our awareness in a positive, wise way as we change. Awareness plays a major part in our lives because it changes our lives. Usually, this change is gradual because we are blending our old self with our new self. What's important is that we can observe ourselves as we change. We can keep a mental distance and observe our old self and new self. We can observe our old and new beliefs. For example, I can observe the way that I was when I was a child. I can observe the way I was 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Or I can observe the way I am right now. I can observe my weaknesses and strengths. I can be more aware of my decisions, and I can question my thinking, and this gives me a chance to readjust myself so I can interact with life more effectively. By paying attention to the observer aspect of myself, I can clarify myself, my decisions, and my position in relation to people and events. Then I will be more aware of how I am molding my life. By keeping a mental distance, I can interact with life in such a way that my life will have direction. It's very important for us to observe the way that we are molding our lives because we are the artists of ourselves. Each person must be their own guide, their own creator, because each of us are uniquely different. We walk differently. We have a different face and different fingerprints. If several people were to write my name, they would write it correctly, but they would write it differently. Each of us have a private life, and regardless of how close we are to our friends, family, or marriage partner, they cannot exactly identify with us. They cannot look at life exactly the way that we do. We are too unique to be found. We are born alone, we live alone in our private self, and we die alone. It's our uniqueness, our personal magic, that we must express and expand as we journey through life. We cannot get a book and read exactly how to be because we have never existed before. So our next way of being is based upon our own creative thinking. Life is an experiential process to be lived, and no one knows exactly what their relationship with life is going to be like in the future. The economists do not know exactly what the economy is going to do. The stock analysts do not know what the stock market will be like. The corporate executives do not know exactly what the business is going to be like in the future. You drive home on the same road every day, but it's different each time. And at home, it is always different. Nobody owns their next relationship with life. So our new self is always an experiential process that is always different. So our life is experiential, and we do not exactly know what our relationship with life will be like, but we can improve our process with life in a variety of ways. If we go through life letting our lives be molded by chance, then we are not cultivating our own uniqueness or developing our full human potential, so we are only living a partial life. If we neglect ourselves, if we do not take an interest in creating our new self in a better way, then we will lose out in life. We can only have wisdom and personal freedom when we actively observe ourselves and constantly pay attention to how we are blending our old self with our new self. The following concepts will help you to create and design a successful, positive new self so you can improve your quality of life for the rest of your life. What is the language of the body? What is the language of the organs and nervous system? If I were to ask my heart to speed up, it would not speed up. But if I imagined that I was in the middle of the jungle at night watching a campfire and a wild animal was running around in the trees behind me, I could get my heart to speed up. I could become nervous, sweaty, and I would feel uneasy. So the language of our body is imagery. And with imagery, we can become nervous or depressed. All we have to do is to create a story, and it will automatically affect our body. And the story that we imagine does not have to be real to work. All we have to do is to use our imagination, and our body chemistry, mental state, and nervous system will change. Some people are always depressed or sad because of their way of thinking about life or the past. They are depressed because they are holding on to a depression story. Maybe they are mentally holding on to several stories that keeps them upset and irritated all of the time. Because of this, they suppress their immune system. Their body defenses are weakened. Abnormal cell growth can occur. This can cause cancer and a variety of other ailments. Because of their stories, they can have headaches, nervousness, ulcers, heart attacks, and high blood pressure. Because of their stories, they suppress their immune system and create their own health problems. They can change their story, their outlook on life, and by doing this, they can strengthen their immune system, lower the abnormal production of cells, lower their blood pressure, and heal their ulcers and nervousness. So the stories that we create affect us in a chemical, electrical, emotional way. The stories that we create and use affect not only our health, but our state of mind, our physical balance, and our relationship with life. We are always creating stories about everything. We have a story about ourselves, our childhood, the past, our job, and our friends. And because of all of these stories, we determine our emotional, mental quality of life. I might say to myself that I don't like clouds, that I don't like a rainy day. Then with time, I emotionally become my story. Then one day there is an overcast and it starts to rain. Then I am moody and depressed because I created a negative story about the clouds and rain. Because of my negative story, I turn my emotions over to a rain cloud. I turn my emotions over to the weather. I could have created a positive story about the clouds and rain, and then I would have owned my emotions. Then if there is an overcast and it starts to rain, it would be enjoyable. So our stories about things, events, and life affect our future interactions with things, events, and life. So as you change from an old self to a new self, pay attention to your stories because they affect the way that you will feel about things. A salesman might appear on television to sell a car. He might tell me that I will not be happy until I buy the car, so I start desiring the car. Several of my friends buy the car, and then I spend more time and energy desiring the car. One day I get to a point where I am not happy anymore because the desire for the car is so strong that I am not happy until I have the car. I turn my emotions over to a desire, and now the desire owns my emotions. The car isn't a problem. The salesman isn't a problem. I am the problem because I let the desire for the car own my emotions. When we put time and energy into a desire, the desire increases, and the more the desire increases, the more it will own our emotions. So watch out for desires because they can own your emotions and take away your peace of mind. Someone can create a self-image about themselves of how important they are. They develop a large ego, then someone might challenge their ego story. Then they will be upset and disturbed because their self-image, their ego, was threatened. I have taught in the martial arts for most of my life. I build a student's confidence, then give them a black belt. With their physical abilities and black belt, they could go through life trying to prove how important they are and always be in an aggressive frame of mind to defend a macho ego image. So I spend much of the training time teaching them to be humble, to be a friend, and to serve others. Then when they get their black belt, they are a peacemaker, a friendly person. Then they are free from negative comments. They have eliminated the ego. They don't have an aggressive self-image to defend. Because of this, they are at peace with themselves, with others, and with life. By becoming less, they have become more. By being humble, tolerant, kind, and truthful, they have protected themselves against sarcasm, ridicule, and negative environments. We might be driving along in a car, expecting to get to our destination on time, and a tire might blow out. Then we would be upset, not because of the tire blowing out. We would be upset because of our expectations to get where we were going. Or we might ask someone to do something and then find out that they didn't do it. Then we would be upset because we expected them to do what we wanted them to do. We become very emotionally vulnerable because of our expectations. So watch out for your expectations and always be prepared for anything, but expect nothing. Have a goal, but include patience, tolerance, and become the observer. Move forward, keep trying, but balance yourself by keeping a mental distance. Then you will eliminate the frustration of expectation. There are uncomfortable feelings such as nervousness, depression, frustration, loneliness, anxiety, and fear. These uncomfortable feelings are very valuable because they can become your teacher. When you are automatically upset or angry, that is when you can examine yourself and learn that you need to change yourself. So, when you are automatically upset, become the observer. Observe your view of things. Check out what your story is with life. Observe your self-image and check out what your expectations are. And be aware of your desires. Observe yourself. Question yourself because you are the one who has the power over your stories. You can change your view of things. You can change your desires so that something else doesn't own your emotions. You can change your self-image and expectations so you won't be upset. If you don't like the way you feel, then change your stories, desires, your self-image, or your expectations until you get your feelings the way you want them to be. Then you can improve your new self and adjust to life in a more harmonious way. To be the master of your own life, you must be aware of your uncomfortable feelings and allow these feelings to help you realize that you need to change your thinking habits. Don't let a week go by where you don't consciously add to yourself. Don't live by accident and let someone else or other things dominate your emotions and determine your stories and feelings. Remember that you can be the master of your own life because you are the creator of words, thoughts, ideas, and concepts. So observe yourself, reorganize and recreate yourself so you feel better, so you have more enthusiasm and vitality. Alter your negative ways of looking at the world, and you will gradually change your frustrations into happiness and enjoyment. And remember, if you feel sad, depressed, or angry, if you feel nervous and tense, it's your story, your view that needs adjustment. It's your self-image and desires that might need changing. And don't wait for a negative emotion to occur before you work on a better image or story. Keep improving yourself regardless of how happy or contented you are, because you can always reach a higher mental and emotional level. Your human potential is unlimited. There is a basic universal rule that whatever we use, we will get better at, and if we don't use something, we will lose it. For example, if I stop using the muscles in my body, they will no longer be useful to me. They will become weak and lose their usefulness. But if I exercise and use my muscles, they will get stronger and become more useful. The same rule that applies to my muscles applies to my brain. If I don't think and concentrate, I will lose the ability to think and concentrate. But if I use my mental faculties, I will get better at thinking and concentrating. The same principles that apply to my muscles and brain apply to my values. Ambition unused will weaken. I will lose it. Strong feelings and enthusiasm unused will also weaken. I will lose my strong feelings and my enthusiasm if I don't use them. But if I use strong feelings and enthusiasm, I can reach a point where I am enthusiastic all the time, regardless of what happens. I can be enthusiastic and happy over nothing. Imagination and creativity unused will also weaken, and we will lose our ability to create. Our imagination will diminish. And it's important not to lose our imagination or creativity, because it's the imagination and our creativity that we can use to improve our view of the world, change our stories, desires, self-image, and feelings. So to strengthen the imagination and creativity, and at the same time improve your relationship with life, spend at least 1/2 hour each day reflecting upon your thoughts, your feelings, and what your relationship with life is like. Clarify yourself, clarify events in your life, then clarify what your relationship is with all events. Get in touch with the way that you think and feel, then use your imagination to improve your life. Use events and your past experiences so that you can grow and learn. Think of life as a training process to help you grow in wisdom. You have created a self-image, a way of life, a way of feeling. And these things determine what you can and cannot do. So use your imagination to improve your self-image, your way of life, and your feelings so you can do more and be more. Because if you don't use your imagination and creativity, if you don't become the observer and take control over your life, you will lose your uniqueness, you will lose your freedom, and you will lose the ability to improve your quality of life. In order to give love and wisdom to someone else, we first must have these qualities ourselves. We must have our own center, our own base, our own quality of being, so that we can form a stable, reliable, trusting relationship. People form a lean relationship where one person depends upon someone else for all of their emotional and moral support. When this happens, they are not learning to rely on themselves, and they are not improving their ability to believe in themselves and endure. They are not strengthening their own unique power. If something happens to the other person who they are emotionally leaning on, then both of the individuals will be in trouble. So it's wise for each person to create a sense of personal strength, of perseverance and self-esteem. Only then can they be relied upon to support a family member or friend when there is trouble. The best gift that we can give ourselves and the best thing that we can do for everyone else is to have a sense of emotional strength and personal worth. We give the most to ourselves and others when we cultivate strength within ourselves. Everyone has two enemies, those without and those within. And when we use the imagination to strengthen ourselves, we can win over both enemies. And with the imagination, we can escape our daily problems and cultivate happiness for ourselves. For example, if I asked you to stop thinking about elephants, what would you do? You would start thinking about elephants, and it would be hard to stop thinking about them. The same thing happens if we try to forget about our troubles and problems. If we try to force them out of our thoughts, it doesn't work. Now imagine a large box filled with $20 bills. Let's pretend that you can have all of the money that you can carry. Now I want you to take a couple of seconds and think of how you would carry as much money as you can. Okay, your time is up. I gave you an exciting goal and you used your imagination. The reason why I had you do this exercise was because I wanted you to realize that you go where the imagination goes. A moment ago, I told you to stop thinking about elephants, troubles, and problems. Well, the way that you can stop thinking about them is by using your imagination to go someplace else. With the imagination, you can go where you want to go. If you have problems and troubles or stories that keep you upset, then use your imagination to create a bigger goal. With a goal, you can mentally escape your troubles and problems, and a goal can keep you enthusiastic and happy all of the time. So get some positive, interesting, exciting goals so you can keep your thoughts on something that will take your mind off of your problems. Let your goals be major and your problems be minor. The major goal in life is to create yourself better. To accomplish this goal, use your human equation as a base, as a foundation, so that you can relate to everything that you do in such a way that you can improve your relationship with life and your quality of being. Use positive values in your human equation, such as tolerance, kindness, trust, and forgiveness, and you will automatically cultivate personal strength and mental control. Then it will be easier for you to follow your imagination. You will also improve your self-image and feelings. And observe your belief system so you will have an awareness of how you are changing your old beliefs and blending them with your new beliefs. Then you will be more sensitive to what is happening, and you will be able to create a better life, a better self, and a better quality of being. So observe your beliefs, observe yourself, and watch out for your stories, desires, expectations, and self-image. And use your negative, uncomfortable feelings to help you become more aware of ineffective thinking habits. It's up to you to mold and motivate yourself upward to a higher level of consciousness. As you observe your values and beliefs and use your human equation to improve your quality of life, it will become easy and automatic for you to continually improve your new self for the rest of your life. So become the observer. Observe the way that you are using your human equation, and remember that your values times your belief system equals your quality of life.